So we have to we are connecting to the our jump server. Here we are connecting, we are opening the SAP logon pad. SAP logon pad is for logging to the SAP systems here. So you can configure n number of SAP systems here. You can configure n number of SAP systems here, right? So once you configure it here, just you can open, you can launch, and you can open the SAP screen. SAP screen will be opened here, right? From here, you need to, there is a client concept in SAP while logged into the system. There is a client concept, right? You need to use the either initially, first time we are logged into the SAP system here, either you can use 000 or 001 client. You can use it here. 000 or 001 client. We can use it here. 000. So 001 client. So we can use it here. 000 or 001 client. We can use it to log into the SAP system. Which user? SAP level, they are the two users, SAP star and DDSC user. What password? So during the installation time, we created the password. That password we have to enter it here, right? Any user can log in. That password we have to use it to log into the systems here, right? So we can log into the systems here. Once you log into the system, then you can see the SAP home page here. So here, this is the OK code box here. Here we have to enter the transaction codes. This is the menu bar. This is the progress bar bottom. And so this is the SAP home page here. So here you can see the status here. You can see the which system you logged in and which user, what is the response time. So all the what transaction code you executed, all the information you got it here. All the information you got it from here. All the information we got it here, right? So all the someone asking the today's class same meeting link, right? So you can ask the same here you will get the all the information here. And also here one thing is here, if you go to the system status here, system status here, you will come to know some more details about the, so what is the previous login, and so what is that system time here, what is your time zone here, right? So which product version here, mainly to know which system currently you are working. Is it a NetWeaver system? Is it a ECC system? Is it a, why? Because all the systems we have the common procedure to log into the SAP system, right? But which system you logged in, to know the details here. So if you go to the system status, if you go to the product information, you will get the some details here, which system you logged in, which system you logged in. So you will get the some information. If you go to the installed product version, you will get the, you installed as a NetWeaver 7.5 here. NetWeaver 7.5 system you have installed it here, right? You got these details here. Suppose if you go to the one more system here, suppose like if you take the ECC, so right, ECC, then log into the ECC, then same system, same concept, same tab here. So which means our activities are common in the all our entire all SAP product. We have the common activities here. This is like a NetWeaver system is installed. This is the ECC EHP8 system, and Fiori also included here. This is the ERP system and EHP8 and Fiori also included in this system here. Fiori also included in this system here, right? So that is also we know here. So any system, if you log in, if you go to the system status data, you will come to know what is the product of the system. What is the product of this system here? Sir, how my logon is working here? How my SAP logon process is working here? Here, whenever SAP created, here there are the two instances are created, right? Whenever SAP system is installed, there are the two instances are created, right? One is the ASS instance. Second one is the application server application, primary application server here. So in the each application server, we have the work process. They are the 7 work process are there, DV, EB, MGS, which we discussed yesterday, right? So here, along with this one, in the application server, we have the, so dispatcher, IGS, then IC man. They are the three processes are additionally available in each and every process here, right? So here, what exactly happens here? So this is the work SAP GUI logon pad, right? This is your SAP screen here, right? SAP application server here. This is your database here, right? So here you have the ASCS instance is here, then application server instance is here. There are the two instances here. One is the ASCS, second one is the application server. So it's a primary application server, which means here we have the dialog, update, background, gateway, spool. Then here message server and enqueue server is available here. Along with this one, so here you have the dispatcher is available here, dispatcher, right? So here, what is happening here? The first work process here, you are from here logon pad to you are directly connecting to the application server. So this is automatically there is an internal link is there, ASCS and application server here, right? So this is the database here, right? This is the how the work process is adjusted in each and every instance here, right? So here our first work process is here, the first one which we will discuss about the not work process dispatcher here. So dispatcher is the first process here which we will discuss about dispatcher, something about the dispatcher. Dispatcher is responsible to take the request, this dispatcher, right? Dispatcher take the request here, then will forward the, take the request and will forward the request to the dialog work process. So forward the request to the available dialog work process here. The person who are logging to, the person who are logging from the SAP logon pad, here, the first work process, the first is not the work process. So dispatcher will take the request from the logon pad. Dispatcher will take the request from the logon pad. So will take the request, request from the GUI or logon pad, then will maintain the request, in FIFO order, first in, first out order. So there is no, so here it will follow the order. Whoever first to open the session, that is the first session, first in, first out, right? The first it will take the session, then it will hand over to the available, the same session will be available to the dialog work process here. Same session will be forwarded to the dialog work process here. So dispatcher will take the request and will forward the request to the available dialog work process. Available dialog work process. It will forward to the available dialog work process. Right? If we don't have the dispatcher, even you cannot log into the SAP systems. Even you will not get the this type of screen. Even you will not get the this type of screen here. This type of screen, even you will not get here, right? So dispatcher is the responsible for taking the user request. Dispatcher is taking the user request here, right? Take the user request assigned to available dialog work process. Assigned to available dialog work process here, right? So if you don't have the dispatcher, then what will happen? You will not get this screen. You will not get this SAP screen here. If you don't have the dispatcher, you will not get the means dispatcher is stopped or something is happened. You will not get the SAP screen. You will not able to log into the SAP screen here. Like this, you will get the error messages, right? So if the dispatcher is there, then you can able to log. You will get the SAP screen here. Means dispatcher taken the request assigned to the available dialog work process, right? So that is the maintain, that will maintain by the dispatcher here. Means you are able to successfully connecting to the, you are getting the SAP screen means because of the dispatcher. So dispatcher forwarded your request to the available dialog request, right? So that is the reason dispatcher will play the important role here, right? So we'll take the request from SAP, and will maintain the in the FIFO order, will assign request to will assign request to available dialog work process available. So dialog work process here that will be done by the dispatcher, right? So here we can see it here. We can see it. If you are able to open the SAP screen means because of the, so yes, you got the SAP screen means because of the, yes, dispatcher open. Dispatcher open here. If you are not received the, so SAP screen means it's keep on rounding, keeping waiting means, so definitely there is a problem with the dispatcher. So which means there is a problem with the dispatcher means there is a problem with the dialog work process. Why? Because dialog work process should take the request. The dialogues are not taking. Until then, it will maintain the all the request in order. It will store the all the request in order. Then when the one dialog work process is available, immediately it will assign to the available dialog work process. Available dialog work process here, right? So that will happen. So then the coming to the work process list, we will talk about the work process here. We have the DVEBMGS, right? The first one is the dialog work process here, right? Why? Because dispatcher will assign to the dialog work process, right? So what dialog work process will take? So dialog work process will take the request from dialog work process will take the request and will process the user request, right? That is the one. Just to give me a minute. So dialog work process. So the responsibility of the dialog work process is, so take the request which is coming from the dispatcher and process the user request. Process the user request. So which means, so whatever the request, whatever the user wants to do, he wants to book the ticket, he wants to book the sales order, he want to save the data, he want to update the entries, whatever he want to do. So that will be done by the, so it will process by the dialog work process. Dialog work process here, right? So it will validate the user credentials, then process the, it will assign the one request to the user, then it will process it here. It will process it here. Then you will get the, so whenever you open, see here, you got the SAP screen means your request is assigned to the, so one dialog work process. Then immediately it will ask the user ID password. Then credentials it will check, validate the credentials in the buffers, user context. So then once it is opened, then your user credentials got uploaded, one dialog work process assigned to the your request here. One dialog work process got assigned to the your request here. Then you are able to open the request now here. So from here, you need to, you are entering the one transaction code, which means here dialog work process processing your request, either daily monitoring transaction codes, either your request is like to, so create the sales orders, purchase orders, your request is to create the company codes, whatever it may be. So that will be done by, that will be processed by the dialog work process here. Sir, where can I check here as part of the here? Where can I check the status of the work process here? All the work process, not only dialog, all the work process status, where can I check here? SM50 is the transaction code. Here we can check the status of the local work process overview. Local work process overview, we can see it here, right? Suppose if you go to the SM50 transaction code here, here we can see the status of the all the work process here. So dialog 4 out of 4. So you have the 3 are free. One is assigned to the your user request. You logged into the, so client means one request is assigned to the dialog work process. Updates are 1 by 1. So backgrounds are 4 by 4 free. So right, total 4, 3 are 4. So which means all are okay except dialog. Dialog means which you logged into the system, you are doing the work. That is why, so dialog work process is occupied here. Dialog is occupied here, right? So the status of the work process is, see here, there is a numbering 0, 1, 2, 3. The type DIA means dialog, UPD means update, BTC means background, spool means spool. Here the process ID also there. Each work process there is a ID. process ID will be generated by the operating system level, right? And also there is a work process status, right? So the status of the work process is waiting, running, hold, stop, so failure, some kind of things here. So main thing is the waiting. Waiting is means the work process are free. If the work process status has waiting, it's a free waiting for the user request, right? If the work process status has running status here, so some other user request is processing. So this work process is processing the other user request. This work process is processing the other user request here. Whether user means my user request is processing here, right? So like that, so this work process will process the user request here. Work process will process the user request here. So dialog work process only. So dialog work process is responsible for process the user request. Process the user request here. If the work process status is waiting means it's a free, means waiting for user request. It will process all the request, right? If the work process status is running status, so user request is running, means user is something is doing in the system. So sometimes work process will go to the hold status. Hold means this work process is hold because of other request is the preceder. The preceder activities are to be completed. Sometimes it will go to the private mode means due to the out of memory issues that I will explain. So this will go to the private mode. Status will go to the private mode here. Sometimes it will go to the sleep. Sleep means work process, sleeping status, something like that. Means it will not take any request here. So like that, so we have the status are there here in the work process here. Work process, we have the status are there here, right? Waiting, running, sleep, stop, error, private mode, right? Like that. So work process status are there here. It will process the our work process related information and everything here. So here in SM50 transaction code, we can check the work process related details. In this request, if you go to the SM50, it will give you the clear information, right? So clear information here. So that type of status we can see. So one work process is running. Suppose if the 4 are running status, nothing is free, what will happen? You will not get this SAP screen. The another person who are the newly logged into the SAP system here, if the 4 or 5, the fifth user is coming to the system means immediately you will not get this SAP screen here. Why? Because almost all the users are all the dialog work process are occupied with the other users. So nothing is free. What will happen? It will not take the user request. Means we will get the request, we will get the ticket, we will get the issue saying that, sir, we are unable to log into the SAP systems. Our SAP system is, we are unable to log into the SAP system, but existing users are able to work, but new users are unable to log in because of, so the dialog work process are not free. So something is running in the system. So that is the main case here, right? That type of issues we may get here. So we can check it out here by checking the logs here. In the suppose like we can check it out here. Suppose this dialog work process is there. So if you go to the administration tab, here there is a trace. Display the trace and display the trace. Here we can see the current trace here. We can check what's happening in the system here. We can check. So what's happening in the system, we can check it out here, right? These are the trace means each and every work process, each and every action will write into in this log file here. Operating system level also we can check it out. But since we are already in the SM50 transaction code, here also we can check it out here. What's happening in the here? So what are the errors we are facing here, right? Each and every action, the table display information will be displayed here. That information will be displayed here. That information will be displayed in this case here, right? Each and everything will be displayed here. Each and everything will be displayed here. That is the dialog work process. So suppose something you want to, suppose like in the display trace file, we can check it out. We can also save as a local file. Our local lab desktop also, we can save the log file also here, right? So and also we can also check the dispatcher file also, we can check it out, dispatcher. And work process, we can also cancel the work process with the core, without core. With the core means the dump will be generated. Without core means the dump will not be generated here. So like that, suppose like this process running, even though user is logged out, but this process is running, then how can we do here, right? So we can cancel it. We can cancel the work process with core or without core, we can cancel it. If you cancel it here, your session will be disconnected. Session will be disconnected here. Why? Because you are canceling the particular work process. You are killing the work process. You are killing the work process means whoever the user is logged in, that user session get disconnected. That user session will get disconnected here. That will happen here. That will happen in the systems here, right? With core, without core, dump will be generated. See, the cancel the selected work process means if you are canceling this work process means you are killing this work process. If you kill this work process, what will happen? Your request will be terminated. What? Request will be terminated here. Your request will be terminated here. That will happen in the system, right? So sometimes we can do it. In the worst case scenario, even the user is not there, sometimes what will happen? The work process will go to the hung status. Work process will go to the hung status here. That time, so we may have to take this type of actions here. Normally, we don't require actually. System will handle the request. If you go to the SM50 transaction code, system will handle the request here. So here 9 dialogues are there. We have the 8 are free, 1 is using. 1 who means I logged into the system. That's why my user is using here, right? 8 dialogues, right? 4 BTC. So like that, we can handle it here, handle the systems here, right? So this way we can handle that. See, this is still canceling, which means it is dumping. It's creating the dump file and it is the session will be deleted here. So like that, we can check the work process status here, right? In SM50 is the transaction code. We can check the status of the work process here, right? So not only SM50, suppose you have the one application server, you have the SM50. It is a local work process. Only one application server related details you can see. Sir, if you have the multiple application servers, we can also install the multiple application server. That is also in our scope of discussion item, right? So then in that case, how can I check all the work process status in one screen? Then in this case, you need to check the SM66 is the transaction code here. SM66 is the transaction code. SM66 is the transaction code to check the global. So work process overview, global work process overview here. SM66 is the transaction code to check the global work process overview here. 50 is the local, 66 is the global work process overview, right? So here we can check the local and global here, local and global work process overview. Global means all the application server details. Sometimes some customers for production systems, we don't have only one application server. Some customers, some projects, well, because depends upon the load, we have the n number of users will log into the systems, right? Depends upon the users, n number of users will log into the systems. In that case, how can I, how this small work process will handle the n number of users? At a time, 100 users, 120 users will log in. That time, this 10 dialog work process, 5 dialog work process will not help. System will be heavily used. Suppose if you take the IRCTC, at a time, there the n number of people will log into the irctc.com. They will do the transactions. They will book the tickets, right? So it's not that much of easy. In that case, so we can install the multiple application servers here. Means one ASCS instance, DB is only one, then one application server. Like this, we can also install the one more application server, one more application server, then one more application server, then one more application server. So like that, n number of application servers we can create it here, right? So which means here, so here ASCS instance, one ASCS is only for, so here this is the primary application server, Additionally, you are installing the additional application server, then additional application server, then additional application server. So you have the multiple, and this is the DB, right? This is the SAP logon pad. The requests are coming like SAP logon pad to here. Then this will route the request to the available application server. In this case, you need to connect to the via ASCS, you need to connect it, right? So now only one application server, you are using the, so this connection, directly you are connecting to the application server here. But this is not the recommended approach. If you have more than one application server, you have to connect through, so via ASCS. So ASCS will route the request to the which application server is very less response. This will route the request to the available application server. So each application server, we have the dispatcher, one remaining work process, dispatcher, remaining work process, dispatcher, remaining work process, dispatcher, remaining work process, dispatcher, remaining work process. So your ASCS will check which work process has less load, then all your requests will route to that available application servers. Available application servers here, right? Available application servers here. Which request is free, it will transferring to the available which request here. So that is the one here, right? Work process. So this concepts will comes like a work process administration part. In the work process administration, the first topic is our work process administration. In the work process administration, we are discussing about the first one is the dispatcher, our family members we are discussing. Then dialogue work process, right? Dialogue work process will take the request and will process the request, right? So whatever user wants to do, once you log into the SAP system, whatever the user wants to do, it will check the request and it will process the user request here, right? So in that dialogue work process, we have the SM50 local work process or you only one application server related status. But if you have the multiple application servers, then so how can I check the all the application servers related work process related status and everything here, right? So in that case, do you need to log into the each and every application server? Not required. So if you use the SM66 is the transaction code, then all the work process instance related work process information will show in one screen. Here we have only one, then only one application server related information is showing here. If you have the two, then two related information will show here like that. So all the, if you have the 10 application servers related information, like all the information will show here. All the will show here. So if you have only one, then SM50, SM66 will show same thing here, right? Why? Because we don't have multiple. SM50 will show the single line work process, then that 21 work process will show here. Then if you go to the SM66 here, it will also show the similar work process here, right? Similar work process here. So dialogue work process is responsible for take the user request, then process the user request here, right? It will process the user request here. So minimum 2 free work process are required to process the any user request here. Minimum 2 user request work process are free. Sir, where can I check whether it's a free or so what is the status and everything? This is one of the first monitoring transaction code in our day-to-day. We have to go to the SM50 transaction code. We need to check the status of the work process here. If the status of the work process is showing everything is okay, minimum 2 are free, that's fine. If all are running status, then even you cannot log into the system. Then OS level troubleshooting, we have to do it, right? So then if you logged in, but remaining all are free means we have to cancel. You have to see what's happening in the system. You have to see what's happening in the system. Why we have this many processes are running in the system. So why there is no free process here, right? So if you are unable to log into the system means definitely dialogue work process are not in the waiting status. Dialogue work process are not in the waiting status. That is the reason. So not in the waiting status. That is the reason you can see So this work process are in the waiting, running, sleep, stop, error status here, right? If it is not in the running status, even you cannot get this SAP screen. Even you cannot get this SAP screen here. Now you see, whenever your work process cancelled here, then your backend session is terminated. Means your SAP session is terminated here. You logged out from the SAP system, ECD system. That previously you cancelled the work process, the running work process you cancelled, right? Go to the administration, cancel, you done it, right? Then which means the work process, your session got terminated. Your session got terminated here, right? Your session got terminated here. So this will happen, right? In case of this user is not there, even though the work process still running status means one work process already fully occupied, which means he is not doing anything here, right? Then we can cancel it here. We can cancel that process here, or we can log off the user. Those things we can do it in the systems, right? So here SM50 is a transaction code. See, work process is terminated, backend system is terminated. Then if you okay, click on OK button here, your session will be disconnected. See, your session got disconnected. Your session got disconnected status here. So that is the reason. So that is the reason you see it got created here. Go to the SM50. So you see session got disconnected. Again, if you go, so then failure status is one, which means you cancel the manually. So one failure status here. So here we can see the information trace. So display the file. We can see it here. So what happened, who cancelled. So all the information, you will get the details here. If you just scroll down and see here, see what happened here, who cancelled your work process. Then some kind of logs, it will be written here. Logs, work process logs are available here. These things we can check it out here. Right? So this is the work process status. The first transaction code is like a SM50, SM66 are like a to check the work process status here. The work process are free or so it's not is running status. So that kind of information we can check from the SM50, SM66. So it's not only dialog, but SAP for the dialog work process also status we can check like. So these transaction codes are related to the dialog work process. SM50, SM66 here. Local work process overview and global work process overview. So what is the difference? SM50, 60 means local means only one application server related work process we can see it here. But I have the another 4 application servers are there. I have installed for the load balancing purpose, load purpose. Why? Because here 100 users, here 100 total 1000 users will log in at a time. Then in this case, this one application server will not sufficient to handle the load. In that case, we can install the more application servers, more work process. We can handle the load here, right? This kind of things we can perform it in the systems. So we can install additional application servers also. There is a procedure that I will tell you, don't worry. So, but here, so let's continue with the work process administration. So here, all the work process related information, we can see it in the SM66. That's why global work process overview. Local means SM50, local work process overview here. So apart from that, we have the few more transaction codes like a, so SM04 is like a SM04. It will give you the how many users are logged into the your system, your friends, your colleagues, how many users are logged into the your system. That will give you the information here, which client they have logged in, which user ID, what is the client host, what is the application, what is the response. So all the user sessions related, what they are, what transaction codes they are using here, all the information will be displayed in SM. So SM04, right? So AL08 is all users here, all the sessions. System-wide user information will show. So SM04 is only one particular application server level. How many users are logged in, that related details we will get from SM04. Sir, I want all entire. Why? Because all are belongs to the one system SID only. So one system SID, how many users are logged in? Then in this case, if you go to the AL08 is the transaction code, here you will get the all the users, all the system wide, all the users, this SID specific, all the users will be logged in. If you go to only SM04 only, so this specific, this instance specific, how many users are connected, that information will be displayed here, right? That is the main thing here, right? If you go any system, suppose like if you go to the production, right? If you go to the production, if you go to the AL08, so same kind of informations. How many users are logged in, right? So what they are connected from, where they connected. Some people they are connected from the client host, means your desktop host. So KP online, right? So them servers, what time they have connected, what they are running, how much memory they are using. So each and every information will be displayed here. In this way, we can find out, see, which user is causing the high memory utilization, which memory is causing the high memory utilization, which memory is running, what user is running what. It's a live sessions. Live currently, whatever the user is running, that sessions will be displayed here. This is the refresh screen here. This is the refresh. So suppose if you want to terminate the user forcefully, just select it, go to the sessions here, select the sessions here, click on the delete the session here, that user session, the session manager will be deleted from the system, right? It got deleted from the system here. So we can terminate it here. In case of he is not doing anything, then we can terminate it here, right? So because of this user, system is going to slow, means we can terminate it here, right? So SM04 and AL08. SM04 is like a local user sessions, application server specific user list, logged on users list specific to app servers. Then AL08. So it's a all app servers related users we can see in AL08 transaction code. AL08 transaction code here. Okay, the first thing for today, so dispatcher and dialog work process we are discussing. So dispatcher will take the request from the GUI, will maintain in order, will assign to the dialog work process. So dialog work process will take the request, will process the user request here. So then whatever the user wants to check, suppose you want to check the work process related details as part of your day-to-day activity, then SM50 you will use. Why? Because these are the transaction, is the transaction code based concept. So local work process overview SM50. You want to check the how many users are logged into the system and what they are doing, and so how much memory they have occupied. Then you can go to the SM04 or AL08. There you can check the how much memory they are using, at what time they have logged in, what they are doing. Only one person they are using the SM04. Remaining persons they are not using anything here. Just to open the SAP screen. Just they have opened the SAP screen, they have opened here, right? So someone is using the Saint, SEC4, something they are using, right? But in that, so this user is using the more memory. Why? Because since he is connected yesterday, since yesterday night he connected, still he is using here, right? So still he is using the system here, right? That we will know here, right? Which client he connected, what is the username, what is the desktop, all the details we have here, all the details we have here, right? So this kind of things we can check in the SM04 and AL08 here, right? So yeah, you can, for now you can practice these 4 transaction codes for today. So I can discuss more, but initial things, right? So the starting things, right? If I go one all at a time, you guys will get confused. That is the problem. So we'll go slowly one by one, one by one. So tomorrow we'll discuss about the update NQ we'll discuss, and some other transaction codes here. So with work process administration, you will get the some other daily monitoring transaction codes also you will get. So there is a one more transaction codes here. Sir, I want to check. You told that to multiple application servers also we can install it. That way can I check that how many application servers are installed here? If we go to the SM51, here you will get the how many app servers are active. You will get it out here. This is also small transaction code. SM51. SM51 is the transaction code to check the active app servers list. So how many application servers are currently active? That will be give you the information here. If you have the 2, if you have the 10, 10 will be displayed. 2 will be displayed. All the information will be displayed here in the SM51. Which one is active? So SM51. Okay. So any questions, anyone?